I tortured myself with painful thoughts for days. They never let go? For years, Therese struggled with overthinking and inner turmoil. At her worst, she couldn't even pass strangers on the street without thinking she had done something wrong. "I'm surprised by the effect," she says about the strategy that finally set her free. "Now I feel better than I have in a long time, and if you asked the people around me, they'd say the same." "Oh, look at her, she came alone. Doesn't she have any friends?" The thoughts swirl inside Therese's head. She has just walked into a cafe, standing in line for coffee, feeling every eye on her. It's as if people can see every flaw, as if her insecurities are written all over her body. What is she wearing? Can you even dress like that? She probably hasn't gotten far in life. Her heart races, cold sweat breaks out, and she can't breathe properly. It's unbearable. She steps out of the line and walks out of the cafe. A vicious spiral. It was completely illogical. Therese laughs about it now. Her situation is very different today. But at one point, the thoughts completely took over. I would often turn around and go home, and sometimes I couldn't even bring myself to go in. Therese doesn't know what caused it. There wasn't a single moment that triggered everything. She had always been conscientious. Doing everything right was important. Mistakes terrified her. She never broke the rules. I used to imagine all possible outcomes of a situation and think through what I needed to do to avoid anything going wrong. Once the overthinking started, it became a vicious spiral that grew over the years. Eventually, she wasn't just analyzing situations, she was analyzing people's reactions and body language. A sharp tone or lack of eye contact would convince her she had done something wrong. "She's mad at me because I messed up," was her typical thought. "He doesn't like me anymore." Like hangover anxiety multiplied by 10. Larger gatherings, especially with unfamiliar people, were among the most triggering situations for Therese. Not knowing people well and fearing she'd say or do something wrong would overwhelm her. Everyone's experienced hangover anxiety. That "oh no, what did I say last night?" feeling. I had that feeling constantly, just multiplied by 10. Even though she could remember what had happened, unlike with hangovers, she still couldn't trust her perception afterward. The thought that what she'd said or done was much worse than she realized always crept in. "Oh no, did I really say that? What if they thought I was stupid or too intense?" I turned everything into something negative, analyzing everyone's reactions and taking it as confirmation that the worst-case scenario was true. I could stay in that state for days. The thoughts wouldn't let go. Did you try asking others to check what actually happened? I was terrified of getting an answer I didn't want. Vulnerable to others. Therese is far from alone. According to psychologists, many people constantly look for signs that others think negatively of them, afraid of rejection or being excluded. The problem with being hyper-aware of others is that you often end up confirming your worst fears while also picking up a lot of noise. It makes people extremely vulnerable in social situations because they rely so much on others' responses. That makes it hard to stand up for yourself, make decisions, or prioritize your own needs. How do people end up like this? Some carry past experiences. They've been rejected or made to feel like a burden, which made them extra sensitive. Others may be naturally more prone to anxiety and rumination. Many also struggle with low self-esteem, and this constant overanalyzing becomes a way of trying to avoid making mistakes or being disliked. But this strategy often backfires, becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. People become overly needy for reassurance, which can irritate others. "Are you mad at me? Are we okay? Are you sure?" If you can't let go of these thoughts, they'll end up damaging the relationship, and you may actually get rejected. It got worse at work. Therese remembers her first job in a kindergarten after finishing her education at age 22. She was replacing an older woman who had been the head teacher. "We're used to being invited over for garden parties by the last one who worked here," one mom said during the first parent meeting. Therese didn't have a house or a garden and simply replied that she wouldn't be doing that. That's going to be hard for you to live up to, the mom said, clearly unhappy. She was really great. Therese's whole body tensed. She felt like she had already failed. What could I do to fix this? Did you feel like you had to be perfect all the time? Yes, definitely. And I've felt that way all along. I have to perform, do well, be perfect. No one should have anything bad to say about me. Completely failed. Parental expectations became one of the worst triggers for Therese. Most were happy, but a few years later, one mom told her she wasn't doing a good enough job. That one voice drowned out all the others. I felt horrible afterward, really, really awful, and I became determined to prove that I could do a good job. Constant work mode. Therese brought work home with her, planning, reading, and overthinking every possible interaction. Even when doing other things, her mind was still consumed by work. I never got a break. Even outside of work, she continued analyzing reactions. At her worst, she couldn't even walk past a stranger without spiraling. Did he look at me? How? What did it mean? What does he think of me now? Eventually, she burned out and went on sick leave. At times, she isolated herself completely, canceled plans, and didn't want to speak to anyone. I used so much energy on other people's reactions and I had nothing left. When to get help? Everyone ruminates from time to time, especially in certain relationships, but for people like Therese, it becomes constant and exhausting. You should seek help when these thoughts interfere with your daily life and relationships, when it ruins the life you want to live. Change your focus. Therese's therapist helped her shift focus. Instead of constantly scanning others' reactions, she started asking, "Can I live with the uncertainty that someone might be upset? Am I responsible for other people's feelings? Isn't it their job to tell me if something's wrong? Can I handle not knowing for sure?" Being able to tolerate uncertainty is a step in the right direction. It also helped to become aware of repetitive thoughts. Ask yourself, is this something I've thought 100 times before? If yes, let it go. Don't feed it. Attention makes these thoughts grow. Ignore them and they'll fade. Trying something new. Therese has been on and off sick leave for years with good and bad periods. When her therapist talks to her now, she's just had her first week at a new job after being off for 2 years. How did it go? Therese smiles. It went great. I've really enjoyed it. She no longer works in a kindergarten, but as a school consultant, 60% position for now. I'm trying something new, and it feels good not to work with people all day. I don't think emotionally heavy jobs like childcare were right for me. Over a decade has passed since her first job. What does she think about that parent meeting now? Therese laughs. I look back and think, that mom was being ridiculous, expecting garden parties from kindergarten staff? That's a bit much. Was there a turning point? It's been very up and down. I don't think I've had one single turning point. I still fear getting stuck in a bad period again. But several things have helped her out of the spiral and into a better place. A supportive family, an open-minded doctor, safe social environments like watching ice hockey, volunteering. Volunteering helped. Last summer, she became a volunteer with the Norwegian Anxiety Association. At first, I was skeptical. I thought we'd just make each other worse. She was wrong. Meeting people who understood what I was going through and realizing I wasn't crazy, that helped more than I ever expected. Recognizing the thoughts. These days, Therese feels more rational. I can see my thoughts from a distance now. When the anxiety creeps in, I tell myself, "You're doing it again, stop." Sometimes I even say it out loud at home, "Stop, that's enough, don't let this take over." What about the negative assumptions you used to make? Now I know they're almost always wrong. If someone turns away, it's probably not because I said something stupid. Maybe they just wanted to talk to someone else. I can think like that now. Just days ago, she was early for an outdoor workout session and was the first to arrive. The usual thoughts began. I must have done something wrong. What if no one shows up? I probably look ridiculous standing here alone in workout gear. She almost left, but she didn't. Others arrived and she had fun. In the past, she would have ruminated on it for days. Now she can let it go. Looking forward. Her goal is to stay employed. She knows overthinking will always be lurking, a fear of her own emotions, fear of the fear. But now I feel better than I've felt in a long time, and the people around me would say the same.